The FBI has clear photos of two people in that Boston Marathon bombing. According to the Boston Globe this morning, they are reluctant at this point to refer to them as suspects, although some news outlets have.
Post is not reluctant. They put it up, and they actually have a picture of these two holding backpacks together. Here, one is gone. The one on the inside of this newspaper shows them staring at the race. These two here, that's one of the backpacks. He had a backpack. Excuse me, it is down below.
Bulging.
Now, people talk about, well, the bag had to be a little bit heavy. It's 6 liters of a pressure cooker, and you couldn't take it a great distance, judging by the sophistication of the detonation. So it had to be somewhat in the area. So they were in the middle of the crowd there on the finish line, and these possibly are the two people are looking for. Now, the Boston Globe front page is a little different. They show a shot of the camera that shot
Lord and Taylor.
Them at the Lord and Taylor right across the street. So they're hot on the trail. They have two suspects in mind. They say they know their names, according to the story, but they don't have a reason to arrest yet. But in this age with the FBI and their ability in the Patriot Act, can you not call somebody in to say, hey, I got your names. I was wondering what you were doing, where those backpacks are.
They're definitely people of interest. And here's the problem with this whole story right now. Aside from all the leaks that came out yesterday and news outlets were reporting stuff all over the place. So why have there been all of these leaks at the federal level? There obviously will be a huge investigation into that. And there's so many different photos that are coming out, which is a good thing to help in the investigation. But which photos do you know to believe in? So, for example, that photo of those two men, just because they have backpacks on, may be totally innocent, or maybe not. That may be the two guys. At this point, we have no idea.
My point is, if it was me and Steve sitting on the sideline, and I found myself on the cover of a newspaper, the back of my head, and the hat I like to wear, and I was innocent, I'd go, hey, listen, don't look at me. Check my apartment, do what you want, but you're looking at the wrong guy. Now, the police, law enforcement officials have told Fox that we have not released any photos, so we don't know where people are getting them from.
Well, they have released photos to, for example, our Rick Leventhal. To police, and he was able to view them. I believe Bill Hemmer at Fox also viewed those photos. But up until this point, Fox has made the decision to not outwardly show those photos because they did not want to impair the investigation. For more on that, let's go to Molly Line, who's live in Boston with the very latest. Molly, if you've been hearing our discussion about these photos, what more can you add to it?
Well, Steve, Gretchen, and Brian, you guys covered a lot of ground, and as you know, there are some photos out there. Law enforcement have seen these photos. They have not been released to the public, and we know that authorities throughout the course of the investigation over the last several days since this bombing has occurred have been poring over all the photos and all the video that the public has brought forward, and they've managed to isolate some people that they're interested in. As you mentioned, they're not calling them suspects. They'd like to talk with these folks. They've been sharing this information with their fellow law enforcement community, hoping to find these individuals and essentially to get to the bottom of things, to clear things up, to talk to anyone they might be interested in. As you mentioned, some of the folks here at Fox News Channel have been able to view those photos. I spoke with a law enforcement source that said he had seen these photos. So it's clear that there are some images being circulated in the law enforcement community, but they have not brought them to the attention of the public. We're still waiting on word of a briefing today. We know the briefings are moving locations, and with any luck, we'll get a little update on this, a more official update on this from our FBI folks that have been updating us throughout the course of this investigation. Also worth noting today that President Obama and the First Lady will be here in Boston today, so there's a heightened sense of security as there has been since these horrible events occurred. Also, the president has signed an emergency declaration for Massachusetts. No surprise there. That means that federal aid will be available to help the city out in the course of this recovery, in the course of this investigation in the coming days. The president is expected to join other faith leaders from all across the region, and particularly from all different faiths, Islamic leaders as well as members of the Jewish faith, as well as the Christian community here in Boston. So it'll be a chance for the Boston community to come together in the wake of what's occurred here. Steve, Gretchen, Brian.
All right, Molly, thank you very much. By the way, here in New York City, people on edge as well ever since the bombing in Boston. Yesterday, there were 94 reports of suspicious packages here in New York City, reported and investigated by the cops. The day before, 77. Because here in New York, they run ads where they say, if you see something, say something. A lot of people are saying something.
But you know what I love? And I think it's the mindset that reflects most of the people I talk to. Instead of people feeling worried and scared, they're angry. 58% of the country, according to a recent poll, says they're more angry than worried. Only 27% said I'm more worried than angry about the bombing. So it just shows you, in a way, not that we're getting used to it, but that we learn to respond to it rather than feel as though, wow, we've never been down this road before. We've been down this road way too much.
We have.
I might have responded both on that particular survey. Hey, we're going to continue our coverage of all these breaking stories for you this morning. We'll be right back right after this.